Let's bring in one of the 100 greatest players in NHL history, 3 Stanley Cup championships, 11-time All-Star, 26 years in the NHL, and of course, the greatest tan in the history of professional sports, number 7, Chris Chelios. Cheli, how are you?
Good, how you doing, Pete?
I mean, you're still tan. You look great.
Yeah, don't be jealous. I can't help it. That's that Greek olive skin we got. So
Right. Tell me about your workout today, first of all.
probably wasn't as hard as yours since you biked in the sauna, but I do that same thing like a ritual. I didn't bike in the sauna today, but I did my exercises, push-ups, sit-ups, dumbbells, all that stuff, and that's it. It's a weekend. Take it easy on the weekends.
I mean, it's just crazy. I want people to hear that again. You bike in a sauna. That's your workout. You've been doing this forever.
Yeah, honestly, that wouldn't be considered a workout. It's basically, you just call it a toxic wash. It's cheating. It's easy because you sweat so much easier in a sauna. And when you bike in the sauna, you don't necessarily burn more calories, but for sure you get those toxics out of you. There's nothing better than sweating, and that's what gets all that bad stuff out of you. So that's really, it's not like you're training for anything or it's better for you. If you're trying to do cardio and build up your endurance, by no means does it do that, but it does get all that bad stuff out of your body through your pores.
Of course. I mean, you and I have become, pretty friendly this summer, and I send you text messages all the time about my workouts, and you're like, Pete, you're down here, you need to be up here.
No, I mean, right now that I'm just your average person, not any longer an athlete trying to, stay in top shape, but, listening to you, you did your bike for 127 degrees that, I'm curious. I've never done that with a group before. And is it circuit training? Is it interval bike? How do you guys do it?
It's called Hot Works. It's at Fullerton and Racine, and you get in a room the size of a sauna, and there's either 1, 2, or 3 bikes. I did it with a buddy today. We did 2 bikes at 127 degrees, and there's a TV camera, and there's an instructor, and you do it for 15 minutes. You're sweating like crazy, and you're done.
Okay, so but are you guys, is there tension as you go at your own level? How does that work?
You do a lot of tension. You do sprints. It's just like a spinning class in a sauna.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I said, I've never done that with a class, so it's interesting. I'd like to try that.
Man, what did you think of watching hockey this year in August?
Not a big fan because I'm a baseball fan, but honestly, it turned out they did a great job. The regular season, because it was shorter, it meant a lot more. But the playoffs, I thought the playoffs were great. You'd have to ask a player how it was not having fans in the building, especially when you have that advantage at home. That probably was the biggest difference for those guys. But, as the playoffs got deeper and the teams narrowed down, it got more exciting. And then, I thought, watching the finals, it was great. The intensity, the playoff intensity level was there. And I'm glad they pulled it off. Something's better than nothing, especially with all this craziness we've had this year. It was entertaining for hockey, baseball, basketball, and now football. I think it helps a lot with what's going on.
I mean, we had no sports for 6 months, and suddenly we had every single sport playing in the month of August. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not complaining. I couldn't wait to watch baseball games on TV. I tried to go to Murphy's and those rooftops, but it's not the same when you're not walking into Wrigley or walking into a guaranteed rate.
Right.
But again, I think people were pretty thankful that the athletes, it's a big commitment, especially the guys that have to go in the bubble, to be away from your family that long and your kids. That's, it's tough, but they did it, and they did a great job.
You brought up not having fans in the stands. I mean, think about the Chicago Stadium back in the day. If you didn't have fans when you were playing in the Stanley Cup final or the playoffs back in '92, how weird would that have been?
Yeah, I mean, there was no question that the old Chicago Stadium, you had a home ice advantage for sure, just because of the crowd and the level, the noise level. And, You talk to any of those guys back in the day that played there, they hated coming in there. They knew they were in for a war, and the crowd had a lot to do with it. It was kind of like that movie Gladiator when they march into that, that Coliseum, and that's like, I
Right.
mean, that's what we felt like as players walking up those stairs. Like it was an amazing feeling, to do that. And there's a lot of buildings like that. Madison Square Garden, the old Boston Garden, Toronto Maple Leaf Garden. So we were one of those, teams that had the advantage, having that building.
What'd you think of Tampa Bay? They were shamed for letting people drink out of the cup this year.
Oh, shame on those people. People take life too serious sometimes.
Come on.
I mean, that was a bunch of young kids having fun, and there's no way to stop that celebration. That cup brings out the best and the worst in people when it comes to the parties. But I was happy. My daughter worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning. She did the TV and the radio. So she, has a ring. That's our fourth ring in the family. So we're all covered when it comes to kids. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Cooper. I'm a big fan of the way they play it, like a North American style. Even though with all that skill, they've got big, strong, especially their back end on defense. And they deserved it. They've been knocking at the door for the last few years here. John Cooper's a great coach. He's won at every level. So I was pretty happy to see Tampa win it. They got great ownership. It's good for them.
Back in the day, how many times did you bring the Stanley Cup into Stanley's? Because I've seen it one time with you back in the day.
Well, let me just say this. The guys that, watched the cup, Dave and the other guys that, they had to take care of the cup and travel with the cup. Once they went to a few of our parties, and I would say especially the Stanley's party, anytime that cup was available, they'd call me. And I'd have that thing. I had that thing more than anybody, including the Hall of Fame. So it was great. Stanley saw it a lot of times. Sometimes only like 20 people we bring in the afternoon, and people would walk in there and say, "What the hell is the Stanley Cup doing here in the middle of the day?" And yeah, I got my money's worth with that thing for sure in Chicago.
We talked about this before. Donnie Cruz, a mutual friend of ours, when you walked into Stanley's, you knew something was going to happen every single night.
Yeah, if Ryan Dempster wasn't playing Golden Tee naked with one of his teammates, or somebody was throwing something, whether it was a chair or glass. I'll never forget when someone threw that huge gumball machine down the stairs. But that's some great times, and yeah, we miss Donnie a lot. And with Donnie, Stanley's also died, unfortunately. But yeah, it was it's somewhat like the Lodge. It was an institution, and
right.
People in Lincoln Park, especially those Sunday brunches with Donnie's, fried chicken, mashed potato. Like it wasn't out of the ordinary to see MJ in there and other people, celebrities, like just enjoying it. It was a great spot.
Eddie Vedder, Kid Rock would get up and sing on Sunday night karaoke. I mean, it was that's what it was. But that whole corner now, Cheli, when you drive down Lincoln at Sedgwick, Gamekeeper, Stanley, Sedgwick's, all closed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you could ever reopen Stanley's because Donnie was Stanley's. But yeah, Gamekeeper's another, spot. It was a great landmark. That was where he went after Stanley's because Stanley closes at 2 and Gamekeepers was open until 4. So
right.
Not that you needed it, but yeah, it's sad. I mean, eventually, I'm sure it's such a great neighborhood and there's so much traffic there. I think eventually someone's going to reopen those buildings and it'll be different, but you need new places to make them old places. So it'll eventually it's going to come around.
Right. Let's talk about the Blackhawks right now. It was fun to see the Hawks beat the Oilers in the playoffs, or the play-in series to get into the playoffs. But man, Saad's gone. They didn't re-sign Corey Crawford. Is this a rebuilding year for the Hawks?
Well, I think don't quote me. I guess you can quote me, but that's what I heard that they had said a few days ago. And if that came from management, I'm not sure. Maybe you know better than me. I hate to see that word rebuild, to be honest with you. I don't want to get in trouble. You can't question the management and, what they've done over the past 12 years, 14 years. So they obviously know what they're doing. Really, for me, just disappointing to see, Corey Crawford go. A big fan. I thought the last year and a half he was at the top of his game, and it's tough to find quality goaltenders like that. I know we've got Subban and the other kid. I'm sorry, his name eludes me right now. But that's where it starts. And then Saad, another good veteran player, kind of a big body. He was a good Blackhawk. It's tough. Those decisions are tough. And if I look back to, my situation where I left the Hawks, it was just time. And, it just remains to be seen if this is the time to rebuild and try and add some new blood and get them back to where they were a few years back.
You're an ambassador for the Blackhawks. If they said, hey, Cheli, can you come out to training camp and just talk to these kids and maybe mentor them a little bit, would you do it?
Oh, of course, if they asked. I've managed to stay out of the hockey ops. When I was assistant coach in Detroit, I was only part-time, and I just decided it wasn't fair that these guys were putting in, they're committed and they're in full-time. And, it wasn't fair for me to just go in there and show up for home games and just be at home practices. So when Jeremy asks for advice or, asks for some input, I give it. I don't go and volunteer it. I don't second guess. I sure do miss being in that room and help being with the players and helping out the defensemen. And who knows, maybe that'll come in time. Like I said, would never turn it down, but for now, I'm really content with the job I have. And it's fun to watch. When they struggle is when I feel like I could really help.
Right.
And they know that. And they're always talking to me. John McDonough, we had a great relationship. And again, Jeremy, I speak with Jeremy often. So I hope to get involved a little more. But they got enough guys, and guys like Campbell who are around now and ex-players that they know what they're doing.
Does it bother you when you see players, be it hockey, baseball, or football, when they're hugging each other during the game? It seems like they're too friendly nowadays.
I mean, I'm watching this Dodger playoff, and these guys are laughing. Even the guys that are down 6-2 are laughing and joking. If we did that with Daryl Sutter or Mike Keenan, we wouldn't play the rest of the game and maybe not the next game. So, yeah, I mean, baseball's a little different. You don't see that so much in football. Hockey, they've gotten really friendly. I mean, it looks like when guys are hitting guys, they're apologizing after the whistle. So it's just the way, the games change. I find it hard. If you ask the younger generation, they don't know any different. So they just assume that's the way it is. But, yeah, it's changed a lot. And I prefer the war. I mean, it's like the old saying, two guys would fight on the ice and then afterwards they'd have a beer in the bar if they saw each other. I prefer it to be on those standards.
Right. I mean, could you imagine if you hugged a player during the game and go back into the locker room with Mike Keenan, what he would do? He'd lose it.
Yeah, I'd either be back in Rockford or where we were back then. I don't know where the minor league team was. And that's where I'd be.
Alex Ovechkin turned 35. They're talking about, will he break Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record? Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know how far. Where's he at now with his goals, and how many did Gretzky have?
Gretzky 894. Ovechkin is at 706 at 35 years old.
I can't say. I would say no. It's harder and harder to score goals. He's a beast. He's one of my favorite players, Ovechkin. He does it all. He's a power forward. He hits, and he scores, and he just plays hard. And I could see our buddy Putin offering Ovechkin a ton of money to finish off his career there. And, but he seems to love this North American style of hockey. I know he loves the NHL. But I'm still going to stick with Gretzky.
You played against both of these guys, right?
Yeah.
With Gretzky and Ovechkin. Yeah. Ovechkin came in what, 05?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Ovechkin much harder. Thank God that he liked me. He never, went after me. And Gretz was a whole different ball game. Just skill. You're just trying to survive on the ice against him and not be made look stupid. But Ovechkin, you're worried about, getting run over. And it would have been best regular season not to wake him up, Ovechkin. But in the playoffs, he's all in, and it doesn't matter. He just sees colors, kind of like that bull that's in the arena and just charges.
Wow. I mean, I think people forget how great the older players are. I mean, we're seeing the comparisons now to LeBron and Michael Jordan. I mean, Wayne Gretzky, You played against him. How great was he? He was
I mean,
his nickname was the Great One.
yeah, and say what you want that he was surrounded by a bunch of Hall of Famers, but he made these guys Hall of Famers.
Right.
He made people around him better, and that's what I think. You mentioned Michael and LeBron. I think there's no question LeBron's a one-man show, and he's the skill so much better than everyone in the game right now. But MJ made everybody around him better. I thought that he was a better team player, and he could, you disperse that ball around more. And I'm biased because I'm MJ's friend, and he's from Chicago Bulls. And
right.
There's one thing for sure: LeBron's nowhere near as cool as MJ was. Just listening to his interview, they're both great. You can't say nothing bad about LeBron. He's been a great ambassador for the sport. But again, my vote goes to MJ as overall and all around. He's the best.
There was a certain classiness about MJ when he would show up for the post-game press conferences. He'd wear the nice suit, the Bigsby and Carruthers suit. He'd sit down. He was so relaxed. I mean, just a coolness about him.
Yeah, like I said, the word that comes to mind is cool.
I love that you're still a fan of sports. Some guys just get burned out of everything and just kind of disappear. You're still, you split your time between California and Chicago, right?
Yeah, but I'm mostly in Chicago. I mean, I'll get away a little bit when the Hawks, get away because of the way my job works out. When the Hawks go on the road, I can. But the majority of the time, because of my family, my kids, my mom, I'm in Chicago. I love it. The summers have been great. I didn't do that for 30 years. I spent my summers out west to get away to train. And now I've kind of switched it around where I'm here all summer and enjoying the lake. There's no better place to be, than Chicago in the summertime. It's just great. The people, the city. This was a tough, obviously a tough year, which went on. But
right.
Overall, we'll get back on our feet and we'll get back to normal and things are going to be great again.
Well, with the riots and the looting downtown, I mean, we have election day coming up and we encourage people to go out and vote. And you're one of those guys that want people to go out there and vote.
Yeah. And like I said, I've never been too much into politics. I don't look at what I'm more interested in is the safety. Like I said, I've never ever been into politics. I don't take them very serious as I know a lot of people do. But one thing I do know that, for me, most important is the safety. And feeling safe, walking around, the great city of Chicago. You want everyone in the neighborhoods, your friends, your family, not have to worry about what's going on. And, one thing you can control, like there's a guy running, Pat O'Brien, for state's attorney. And that's one position, I think, that really doesn't reflect anything about politics other than, common sense and putting these people that are committing these horrible crimes behind bars and not for just a day or two, for a long period of time, and hold these people accountable, because it's gotten to the point where, everybody's talking about it. And I don't care what side you're on, Democrat or Republican, this is about a safety issue and saving the city. Enough's enough with what's going on. This is sad. And I live downtown and it's horrible, and it needs to get back to where we were. So people are bragging about our city as opposed to trying to defend, it's embarrassing with what's going on. And we're the talk of the country when it comes to crime. It's horrible.
Right. You got to go out and vote. We encourage people to vote on election day. And one last thing. When was the last time you talked to Roenick? How's JR doing?
A couple of weeks ago. He's out pounding the pavement. He's into politics, Jerry. So yeah. And I'm not going to say who he's pulling for, but he loves his golf, JR. He's everywhere. He's out. He's in Chicago quite a bit. And I believe he's coming back next week. Him and Eddie Belfour are coming back. Eddie's got a whiskey that he's promoting, so we're going to go to a luncheon for Eddie. But yeah, JR's great. Unfortunately, he lost his job with NBC, and he'll surface somewhere. He was good on TV, and I think people really enjoyed his perspective. It was a different perspective of how he approached things, and
I loved it.
I wouldn't say unprofessional, but it was, he catered to the normal fan, and he's the greatest.
He was a fan like all of us, and that's how it came out on television. I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. And he makes himself approachable. He's always out in the public, and people like that. I realize that having my bars and restaurants, that people like to see you there and they like to talk to you and have a drink with you. So, and that's what Jeremy was all about.
How do we get him into the Hall of Fame? He's got over 1,200 points, over 500 goals. How does he get into the Hall of Fame?
You know, I don't understand it, especially when, you know, being American too, the
Right?
scale. Um, you know, I don't want to take anything away from guys that have been inducted, but I think he's deserved to be in there ahead of a few other guys. And again, I know he's my friend. I know he's a teammate, but there's no question it's overdue. And there's no question he should be in the Hall of Fame now, and he should get in soon.
Cheli, it's great to hear your voice. Great to see you. Your tan is just spot on. You look great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go work on it next week. Don't worry, because I ain't gonna get a tan here in Chicago. I'll tell you that.
Chris Chelios, number 7. Thanks for joining us, Cheli.
Yeah, you got to remember, vote for Pat O'Brien, state's attorney, please.
We'll
All
talk
right?
soon. Thanks, buddy.
All right, take care.